These are forward break falls. They're very easy. All you have to do is slap the ground as you go down. Fall forward and slap the ground with your palm. Don't go down with your wrist. Slap the ground with your palm. The slap sends force into the earth. The earth pushes you backwards, thereby breaking the force of the fall, as so. Similarly, it can also be done backwards. Backwards, you let one leg collapse and slap the ground, as so. Similarly, you can also do a shoulder roll, as so. Go down, tuck in one hand, tuck in one shoulder, tuck in your head, as so. And come up to your feet. These are the breakfasts.
Stay on him. Roger that, got him. Stand on him. Because you think they start hauling ass.
What is up? This is your boy iGuru back with a new video, and today I'm revisiting the WZ131. Now actually this is an old video, old as in this is from the 9.19 server, and this was my first try in the WZ131 since it was nerfed. I think 9.18 it was nerfed. And what's special about these two games is that they're both Ace tanker games, and they're both back-to-back, and they're both on different guns. Now when I revisited this tank, the first gun I wanted to go back to test out was my favorite gun, the small gun, which is what I got on right now for the first game. And we are in Fisherman's Bay. I come to the bush to see what I can spot and see if I can shoot some stuff. And I missed the first shot. The reload takes forever, and I missed the second shot or bounced or something. And at this point I was thinking to myself, what have they done to my favorite tank? At one point in time, this was my absolute favorite tank in the game. The WZ131 is a really good mobile, fast reloading tank, and ever since the nerf, and this is my first experience in it, I was asking myself, what on earth is going on? So I tried to get to this position to snipe out whoever was crossing. This T-71 didn't know I was in the bush. He comes to rush me. I auto aim that guy. I take a hit from him. I managed to hit him on the auto aim. So now I run away and try to get unlit or try to go dark before I plot my next move. Now I've noticed that my team has pushed down the western side, and I felt that I may have overextended my stay in the middle, so I decided to join my team down the western side, push forward. I've speed this up a little bit 4 times until I get to the point where I push forward. I ping the map, trying to encourage my team to go forward, and I am the first one to get there. So finally I get to shoot the turret, and I decide to take my chances and try to attack this guy with my team pushing behind me. So I try to get a flank around, and he misses his shot, and I try to shoot him in the back, but I realized that no one has come to support me, so I have to run away. Now what's special about this small gun? The reason why I like this small gun is because of the rate of fire, which is 9.34. It reloads every 6.5 seconds, and this is without special crew. I've got a 4-skill crew or something like that, so it reloads even faster than that. To be exact, I have a 5-skill crew, and it reloads at about 5.5 seconds. Now I mostly shoot heat rounds in the small gun because I need the absolute penetration, which is 220 penetration, but it only does 180 damage on average, which is 20 damage less than the big gun, which you will see in the next replay. Now I decided to run away and abandon my team on the western front because nobody came across to help helped me out when I pushed over. So I decided to fall back and just snipe. I decided that my life is more important than theirs, and I will try to carry as much as I could. There's nothing much left for me to do in any of the western or eastern fronts, so I sit at the back here and do as much damage as I can. Now when you're sitting still and just shooting away, it's not a really bad tank at all. The gun is quite useful if you're completely stationary, so there's no surprise here, nothing special about sitting in the bush and farming people. But as soon as you need to make some plays, run around, use your mobility, which is what this tank is all about, then your gun becomes increasingly unreliable in that sense. When you need to rotate your turret, when you need to take snapshots, that's when it kind of lets you down a bit more than usual. So right now we are down 7 to 10, down 3 tanks. We still haven't given up hope. I've tried to take down their health as much as possible as they were pushing in to the northwestern part of the map. They completely overran the east side, and I tried to snipe them down as much as I possibly could. Now it's time for me to get some distance. If I need to try to win this, I need to get away from them as far as possible, because this is a light tank, and any kind of head-to-head fight I would lose out, because I just don't have the hit points or the armor to be able to contest any kind of tier 7 tanks really. Now you can see my bloom taking a long time to shrink. This is one of the nerfs that has come along with the WZ131, and I felt that this gun used to be my favorite gun. It was so good, even though it was not doing a lot of damage. 180 damage is not too bad, 20 less damage than the big gun, but you could fire every 5.5, 6 seconds, which means it was very good for brawling and quick firing, running away, and using your mobility to help out your DPM. Now I lost my HP there. It's all down to this Cromwell, and basically this was GG by now. So let's move on to the next game when I mount the other gun. And this gun is the 85mm 6485T. And the other gun with the T-bar in the first game was the 85mm 6285T. So this gun does 200 damage, 20 more damage than the small gun, and 230 penetration with the heat rounds, which is like 10 extra penetration. This gun, however, reloads at a much slower rate, almost half a second slower. This is a 7.19 second reload without cruise skills, and with the cruise skills you're like maybe 6.5 seconds. A rate of fire 8.34. The aiming time is similar to the T gun, which is 2.4 seconds with a dispersion of 0.35. This gun does a little bit more damage, but it's no better than the smaller gun in terms of trollability. The troll factor on these guns, you need to get used to it. You either try to get used to it, or it's going to really frustrate the hell out of you. Now on this map, I love coming to the early spotting position here and trying to get early spots, but I got punished for it because I wasn't the only one having the same idea. The 1375 on the opposing team also tried to get the early position, and he spotted me out, and I took a big hit from that SU-122, and it took 400 damage out of me. Almost half my HP was gone there, and right now I am in a great position here, spotting from the bush next to the rock. The only danger I'm facing right now is from my own team. The FV4202 is right next to me, and I know the FV4202 does not have camo values like I do, and when he gives away his position, I could be taking blind fire shots that are intended for him. So I tried to message him and ask him to fall back and let me operate in this location on my own. I see that he hasn't really paid any attention to me, so I decide to leave, and just as well, because I am spotted, I need to get away safe, and I decide to flank around all the way to the other side of the map. And the only reason I did that was because the FV4202 was actually cramping my style. I was going to take a hit again, and maybe because he was going to get spotted out and I might be a victim of blind fire. So I make it all the way to the other side, to the castle, and decided that this might not be a very good spot for me, because I am not really confident of playing the front line in this tank. What I need to do is to get some space between me and the enemy, some cover, either hard cover or soft cover. Hard cover in terms of like a rock like this, and soft cover as in bushes. So when you have a rock in between you, you can use your mobility to move around, work around the rock, use it as cover, use it to protect yourself. Now notice that the enemy team has moved into a very good position where they could punish me if I was not in a safe position. So I decide to pull back even further down to the JK line and try to snipe the enemy at the castle through the bushes, which is what I'm attempting to do right now. So in situations like this, where as you can see the STRV is right next to me, I try to get into a bush so I can maybe spot something and try to shoot at the enemy without being spotted. I can't really move forward because I don't have any friends out there. But then again, I can't let this STRV go to waste. This tank destroyer right next to me on the A line, he's going to be an effective sniper if only someone can spot for him. So I need to try to make my way to the castle safely without getting spotted, without losing any more of my HP. So I try to use these bushes to hide my position as I creep forward and try to spot something for the tank destroyer enemy. So using these bushes, I push forward slowly and I spot that SU-12244 that took 400 damage from me. I need to repay him. So right now I'm safe, but last seen was the Panther and the Leo in this position. So if they were to rush me, I would be in big trouble. So I need to be careful. I need to not get spotted, so I'm double push right now. No problem, I can shoot this guy all day, every day, and he will not spot me. And neither will this Leo. Oops, I am lit up. So I need to pull back into the rocks, take cover, go dark again, and then come out. And someone else has taken out that Panther, so there is only that Leo to be dealt with at the moment. I momentarily pause at this bush, reassess the situation, and make sure no one's pushing up to me before I try to creep forward slightly again. I need to be very careful here. I spot out that scorpion, so I get to take one shot and see if I can kill him. No, I don't. Very unlucky there. But I think I will reload before, yes, I reload before he can take a shot at me. So I finish him off and I retreat back to that bush just to make sure that everything is safe. I also don't want to be pushing up on my own. I think somewhere around here I ping on the map and try to recruit the other guys to help me. There's 2 E75s in my team, and these cockroaches are really good in camouflage, shooting while hiding in the bush. So they're really useful partners in crime. If you have them in your team, you would be very fortunate, because if you work with them, you can accomplish a lot of things. These E75s are like invisible tanks. They're really good at camouflage, hiding. I spot out the Leo and he spots me too, and we both take a shot at each other. I do 178 damage on him and he does 220 on me. And thank goodness our artillery manages to finish him off. From here on, it's a game of meticulous creeping, and I'm speeding this up to 4 times so that we can get to the end a bit sooner. And right now we are leading 10-8, but it's not over yet. They have a lot of sneaky tanks still remaining, and me being on one shot, I need to be careful on how I expend my remaining HP. So I just creep around the map and try to spot them out best I can. Now it's here that I get to spot and fire. Now you can see how slow the reticule is to aim. But the good thing about this gun is I noticed that you don't really need to fully aim to get a sure shot. Sometimes it's a lot better just to snapshot when it's half aim. It tends to work a lot better, and at least even if you miss, you can have excuse and say, well, it wasn't fully aimed. It's a lot more frustrating when you're like, this shot was not fully aimed, but I managed to get the shot off and make contact. It's a lot worse when you are fully aimed and the gun decides to troll you and shoots over the head or something. We're up 13-9 now. The game is almost wrapped up. I just want to make sure that I can do as much damage as I can. At this point, I've already done 2,500 damage, which is quite respectable for a tier 7 light tank. So I'll just keep shooting and finishing off the last tank, and it is done. Anyway, let's get straight to the results. I recorded this and while I was pulling up the results. On the first game, it was a defeat at Fisherman's Bay, but I still managed over 11,700 WN8. And on the second game, right after the Fisherman's Bay, was in Richa with also about 11,200 WN8, and I didn't do as much damage in the first game, but I think maybe I did a bit more spotting. So in the first game, I think I did 3,500 damage with 1,800 spotting, while in Redshire I did 2,700 damage and 900 spotting. I haven't made up my mind about which gun I like the best, to be honest with you, and I think both of them are just as good. Neither one is better than the other. They both work just as bad, to be honest with you. It's no longer the same 131 that I fell in love with years ago. I think right now, if you're interested in this tank, it's best to go for the Type 62. I think the Type 62, they didn't do anything to it, so it remains a top performer, which means I think it will outperform this 131 with either guns. Either way, I hope you've enjoyed this video and found it informative enough to give me a thumbs up and follow me if you like these kinds of videos. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the battlefield. Bye.